Okay. So for week 3, we're talking about um out of scope of practice or competence. So I guess we get to go straight into our like 4 scenarios.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, number one about the
hmm
middle school
hmm
uh, girl. Um, yeah, did you have a immediate sense of what you would do here?
Yeah, I would go with training first since she already has like experience but with children but not with like the specific middle school population. Um,
Yeah.
so training seemed like it was the more obvious choice, and then obviously with training comes like the supervision after 'cause she has to put it into practice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that one seemed pretty straightforward
Yeah.
for me.
For me, I felt like I actually just basically ruled out referring out because I'm like,
Yeah.
she already,
hmm
or the therapist, I don't know if it's a she,
hmm
the therapist is already competent with, I mean, right, middle school is only generally in most school districts, as far as I know, only 2 years now.
hmm
So if the therapist is already competent with kids on either side of this like little 2 year age group, um, then I feel like they've already probably got so many of the skills needed.
Yeah.
So I actually for myself just thought maybe starting I mean I totally don't disagree with what you're offering, but I also for me was like I think I just start with consultation because
Yeah, that's true.
I don't need know how much further like in-depth education this therapist needs. I may be underestimating the rigors of middle school here. Um but
Yeah,
I
that would be my only difference, I think, is depending on, yeah, I guess I would need more information. Like, does she have like, I'm assuming with what she's already been learning, she probably knows all the different developmental stages that go into like working with children.
yeah,
So I think that would be the only difference is like there's a lot that happens in middle school, like puberty and things that are super specific. But
sure.
yeah, I agree that I guess a consultation would make more sense because she could just meet with someone who's already in that like population to be like, well, these are maybe things you could work on, but it doesn't mean you're incompetent or something, you know?
Right.
Yeah, totally.
I just want like more information from someone who works with that demographic to just be like,
Yeah.
tell me what areas do you think I need to really learn about first? Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Very clearly we don't refer
No.
out for this. No.
Yeah, definitely not. Um, and then we go straight into the second scenario, which is the clinician who is racist.
Yeah.
Um,
This is where I totally sorry.
yeah, I felt similar. Yeah.
I totally differ from our textbook. Uh,
Yeah.
I got the impression that our professor also differs from it in some of the comments
Mhm,
that she made.
mhm.
But I personally think it is unsafe and irresponsible to um, put a client with a therapist who we already know cannot hold positive regard
Yeah,
for that
definitely.
client. If
Mhm,
they're racist, it's like they're inherently flawed against working with this person.
mhm.
And it's not just like they should overcome their racism. That is, they need to be deprogrammed. And
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
don't, that's not going to happen through, you know, um, consultation or training. So they just
Yeah.
need this client needs to be kept safe from that person.
Yeah, I felt similar where I was like, it shouldn't be up to like the, the black client to be responsible for the harm that the clinician will be giving them. For
Yeah.
that for because it's basically saying like, well, if that person were to give, um, you know, practice with this person, then it's like obviously there will be harmful consequences, and then maybe that person will what is that considered? Like complain about that person, and that's the only way they'll get any sort of like training on it. It's just like honestly for me when I was reading this, I was like, well, I would honestly reprimand this person and also question how they got their licensure if they weren't able to like be just competent and like tolerant of different types of people. So yeah, I was like, there has to be more than just like referring out for this situation.
Yeah. I mean, if yeah, I mean it's just I can't in reading the textbook, I actually just found really it really did not work for me when they kept repeatedly saying that you don't ever you don't ever refer out because of um like holding different worldviews or not tolerating people's culture because
Yeah. Mhm.
I feel like we're lucky to have the information that this person is racist. Let us
Yeah.
protect clients from being further traumatized by them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're not gonna just keep putting this person with someone who they obviously dislike due to their culture, you know?
Yeah. So, like, refer out and then fire the
Yeah,
clinician.
exactly. I was like, expulsion. Yeah.
I mean, un- I have to say that we live in a country where there are swaths of the country where it's probably um maybe there are, you know, I mean there are obviously racist therapists in this country. Um that's unfortunate and um they should never be working for with clients who hold um minoritized uh identities. It's just
Yeah, definitely.
yikes. Mm,
Oh, man.
disturbing.
Yeah, that one being in the mix of this, I was like, "Whoa, that's a lot."
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, alright, I guess we can move on to number 3.
Yeah.
That one's the private practice clinician working with adults. They're already working with adults that have like severe mental illness. And
Yeah.
then they're going into the child custody cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I was like, well, they're two completely different fields. So that would, for me, training would be a thing.
Mhm.
Training supervision and then like consultation to like for sure see that they could work in that capacity.
Yeah. So you'd go with starting with training as the first, because she asks what to do first, though.
Mhm.
Uh, That would be the starting place.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Um, yeah,
yeah, that one seems pretty straightforward to
yeah.
me also.
Makes sense.
Um, okay.
Number 4, a clinician who works with substance abuse, including alcoholism, is treating a homeless person with a heroin addiction. We work with different populations, but never with a homeless population. What should they do? Consultation, refer out, training, supervision. Yeah. I I don't my instinct was to go with supervision as the first thing here. They very likely will also need training.
Mhm.
Um, but I felt like um they already have a lot of information about working with people with substance abuse, and it's really like uh, you know, consultation and or supervision, maybe both, but what are the specific issues that arise uniquely for the unhoused situation. I mean, clearly they need an expert because there's going to be other like practical issues involved.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like I was like consultation, I assume, because then like they can meet with someone who works specifically with houseless people.
Hmm.
And then from there, that person be like, well, maybe these are trainings that would be helpful to you. Because it seems like, yeah, they're very like well versed with different like populations. And it seems like
Hmm.
they work with all types of people and issues. But um
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably what I would go for.
Yeah. I think that's true. I kind of just generally feel like, aside from, number two about the racist clinician, I sort of feel like talking to an expert
Mhm.
always makes sense as a first step. Because,
Mm,
like, if training is needed,
mhm,
the expert might really be good at pointing the direction for that training, referring the clinician to, because they'll have familiarity with,
mhm.
or hopefully they would have familiarity with, what are the good programs for that kind of training, so that it's not just you're randomly like Googling to find a program.
Yeah, that's honestly a good point. Yeah, because there's so much different types of training. Like, you could go back to school or just go to like a workshop or like learn from
Yeah,
another clinician. So it would make sense just to meet with someone who already knows what they're doing and could be like, well, these are good resources. So you're not like lost. Mhm.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, someone who works in like a shelter or services for the unhoused,
Mhm.
even if they're not a clinician, would be a really good um, person to consult, because
Yeah.
um, they will really understand the lay of the land. They'll really, really understand what's going on there,
Hmm.
and like a,
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, for that one specifically, I would even maybe ask like someone working in outreach.
yes.
Yeah, so they like really know what like the needs are to the houseless people.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
it's all for that.
Um,
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
no, just that. Wow, you've really got to have a big Rolodex. Do you remember what a do you know what a
Yeah,
Rolodex?
I do. I do.
Like, wow, your Rolodex must get really big when you're a therapist,
Yeah,
because look at all the experts that you need to consult.
yeah, totally.
And I guess another question that comes up for me is like, do you pay all these experts?
Right. Yeah,
That's
because it's like
something I thought of.
I did think about that because I was like, am I assuming that the experts are already in my supervision team, or is like, do I go to my main supervisor and then they're like, well, I'm not even equipped to do that for you, so then they have to go even farther out. Yeah, I guess like in a perfect world, I would assume that the job I had would pay for me to get training, but who knows?
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be great, and if that were the situation. Um, yeah. Any other thoughts you've had?
No, yeah, felt like this was great. Mhm.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Well, thanks, Karina.
Thank you.